what year it was exactly. Probably around 2013, 2014. And I'm getting really involved in some of this. And I'm realizing, like I said, this wasn't a religious thing. It started seeing, I started seeing religious symbolism in the stuff I was seeing. And it didn't come across to me as like, oh shit, some spiritual elements are trying to get me to cross over or to convert from whatever religion I'm from, right? As much as I started understanding, well, okay, this is why they think this, and this is why they use this as symbolism. And there was an understanding there, a very universal understanding of a cliched statement, but, every fucking religion is just basically made by man, and it's a cult. By definition, it's a cult. Now, here's the problem. If you think a cult is like a gang of spiritual people who like have sex with their members and shit like that. No, I'm saying look up the word cult in a dictionary. You can blacklist the name. I mean, anyone can do that. I can dress up as a priest and molest a kid. You go out and hate the whole Catholic religion. I mean, I know what's up. Went to all boys Catholic school. I know reality from whatever your reality is, and typically I win that battle. And so when I'm getting into all this, I'm starting to notice something that I had noticed a long time ago. Now, I don't want to bring drugs into this in any way, shape, or form of being condoning of drugs, because people think I condone drugs, that I'm all about drugs. And let me tell you something. I am not, I repeat, I am not for the legalization of drugs. I am militant for the decriminalization of them. And that's just the beginning. I'm just taking the drug angle. We need to start decriminalizing things, not vice versa, Trump. But one day I'm sitting here and I'm having a moment, and I'm realizing, I've had these moments before, standing in my room in LA. I mean, it wasn't a big deal, but I started realizing, this is more than just how I viewed it. And the first time it had happened to me, I was on mushrooms. And I was visiting my good friends Carlos and Sonia in Berkeley. We got some mushrooms. We were going to go and roam around the campus that night. It's really beautiful up in Berkeley. This is in '94. I guess things have changed up there now, but it was really like Woodstock would be in the '60s. Like, it blew my mind, And it was only a 45-minute flight from LA. And I was growing weed in LA at the time, so I would basically have a harvest, hide like, a quarter pound here, a quarter pound there. And if I needed money, my brother, who was smoking weed, playing football at the time, I tell him, hey, man, there's a QP right there. You sell half of that, you deposit it into my bank account. It gave me money to play around in Berkeley. So we're having a great time, right? She's on a scholarship up there. Beautiful girl. Reminded me of Uma Thurman in Pulp Fiction. Carlos, very cool guy, very mellow guy. But one of those guys, like whenever he walked into a room, all the girls wanted him. Really kind of funny thing, And then you got dunce like me hanging out with him. But we had a great time. But this one night, there was really nothing going on. And so we're swimming maybe an eighth each. And we're in this tiny apartment in Berkeley. And she puts on, one of the most classic albums of all time, Paul's Boutique by the Beastie Boys. Now, she was one of those we would go to either an NWA show or we could go to a Grateful Dead show. It didn't really matter. It was the same atmosphere in our minds. And so she starts hula hooping. She was one of those hula hoop girls that all these guys film, right? And she's in this little, like, den. Like, there's like no room to walk between the table and the TV. And we've got Paul's Boutique blasting, and she starts hula hooping, and she hula hooped through the whole entire album of Paul's Boutique. And I'm shrooming. So I'm getting into a haze, which was smoking weed, I'm kind of getting into this, back then this was considered like doing heroin and acid. Nowadays it's like they sell it at the dispensary. And I saw something that was like mystical, yeah, it was very divine. And it was while she was hula hooping, I saw her, and the only way I could describe it is the hula hoop. I didn't see the hula hoop in the darkness, but I saw her body movement with it. And I noticed how bizarre it was, like the way her body was contouring and moving around was like angelic. But of course, it's because she's doing hula hoop. But if you remove the hula hoop and she didn't have that as like a concentric circle to dance with, I really was looking at some 60s acid trip, girl from heaven dancing. Like, and I really zoned out on that. And it stuck with me. Like, I remember thinking about it when I got back to LA months later, like, damn, that was a moment, man. Like, if I could put that into a music video, if I could just, I literally thought that at the time. That was in '94. Fast forward 20 years. Been through a lot of shit, seen a lot of shit. Now I'm having these moments again, and I'm flashing back to, this was like when I shroomed that time in Berkeley. And so I thought to myself, I'm going to put a little effort into this. So I tried to, and sure enough, it started happening. But this was my big question. It was always my question. When I do this, is it my imagination? See, people don't understand. I am very much a skeptic. And that angers people because they don't like the fact that like one of their clique who are like the career skeptics who no matter what they see, and they will see something that will change them, but no matter what they see, they want to be a skeptic or they want to disagree with you. So I really wanted to get evidence that like, are other people seeing this? So I would even set up another camcorder and say, okay, this is another person, and then film myself. And I want to see what they would see if they're looking at me or if they're watching what I'm watching and they see it too. And it's funny because I thought I like found this and discovered this. I was going to go to all the, whether it was High Times Magazine or American Scientology or whatever, and be like, I've discovered something. You've got to check this out. And then I heard Alan Watts, and as if in divine right timing, he starts talking about this very thing. And it's one of those speeches he gives. And he starts talking about how, isn't it frustrating, he says to his audience, you have these people who walk around like they're so angelic and they have smiles on their faces, and it's not that their lives are so grand, but they seem to be in sort of like a conscious perfectness. It's as if the whole globe is a trampoline and they're just bouncing around and everyone's laughing, right? Nothing can touch them. Nothing can hurt them. They think everything is just great. And that's not really true, but what he was saying was ultimate bliss. What are these people doing walking around? And he says what they're experiencing is called divine mystical consciousness, also known as God consciousness. Now, I call this coming into congruency, because what I was noticing was I was able to get my mind and all my surroundings in symmetry. They were all equaling each other at the same time. Now, this is combined with music, with conversation, with people around you. So how was I going to recreate that? I mean, was I going to put random music videos on different TV screens, not knowing what they were, and then just blindly grab a cassette deck, put a tape in it, play it, and then say, okay, Don, concentrate, and let's see, can we make a music video in our mind right now, but real? So that if there's someone here with you, you're going to say, watch this. I'm going to make all these people start dancing to this song, and you're going to see it. Like, that was my experiment. I mean, I was having fun with it. But I never knew, because I never really got anybody to look at it or to see it like I saw it. So I think it was mainly in my imagination. But the funny thing that Alan Watts said was, he goes, divine mystical consciousness, where you're just like, I love it when he said that, you're bouncing off the world like the ground is a trampoline, and it's so wonderful and it's so great. And he really kind of gets the audience into a weird position of saying like, yeah, man, those people annoy the hell out of me. It's so easy for them and this and that. And then he says at the end, he goes, what's so ironic about it, and you need to realize, is that you're all paying money to come hear me speak so that you can be like them. So you can be just like them. They're just already there. And that hit me really hard, where I was like, I'm not saying it was because of the shrooms, because I'm doing it without shrooms. But with all my failures in life, does that bring me to a level, and I'm sure some of you know what I'm talking about, where, you may not believe in God, but you reached, all of a sudden Zen hits you. Pure happiness hits you. Bliss hits you. Or you're in the zone. Same difference. Kobe Bryant gets in the zone. Tiger Woods would get into the zone. And you can see it. You could see it watching from your couch. You knew the three-pointer was going to go down because he was in the zone. Now, I could see that, and I wasn't at the game. Could people see me bring everyone into the zone? So I put on what reminded me of Berkeley. And it was this chick who was like really good at hula hooping. And that's why I put on all the hula hoop videos. Some chicks think I'm all like some pervert. I'm like, you really do kill my ascension. You try to ride on it and then you pull it down. Like, wrong dude to tell that to. I'm not that guy. All right. This is my daughter. This is some girl I'm looking at. I'd watch a porno otherwise, and I'll do that later on. Like, I'm just real like that. But so I put on Gaslamp Killer. He was my favorite artist at the time, great DJ, still is. And a song called, Anything Worse. And it's him basically kind of mixing in and then doing his own drum beat. Now, I'm just grabbing that randomly while watching this video of a hula hooper. And I'm now going to try to pull you in. I don't have it timed. There's no seconds or slow and rewind and pause or anything like that. I'm just saying, if you're watching this with me, do you think that I am bringing the music and this woman together for you to have a show, for you to have a music video that is not planned, is not written out, is not on a digital audio recorder? Are you seeing what I'm seeing? And that was the first time I really realized, wow, I've been reaching divine mystical consciousness, and I should be taking more reverence of that, because other people work their whole lives and put a lot of effort into it, and somehow or another, it wasn't the shrooms. It was just, you just have to. I mean, maybe just because your mind has to go to a very different level of not good or bad, but just acceptance of everything around you and enjoyment of it. You can't be in a bad atmosphere. You can't be in a bad acid trip. But if you're in a comfortable position and you're feeling the way you like to feel, and you feel unique that way, everyone around you becomes, it's like with drugs, with cocaine, everyone's your best friend. They'll be annoyed by it. Everything's cool. Everything's great when it's really not, But I was realizing that's what's going on here. And so I took over Alan Watts' phrase, because I thought I invented this thing. I did not invent this thing. He clearly had made this audio tape, and he clearly was talking, and I researched more into it, and it goes back for a long ways, all the way back to Africa. Divine mystical consciousness. And when you reach that, that is what is nirvana. That is that level of, not that you are God, but that you're thinking with him, that you're sharing a thought with him, or how he would think when he sees this. Didn't mean you got that title. It just meant now you can see what God sees and what God can do, and how God doesn't run your life. But then again, I didn't run this video. I didn't run that music. I just ran what you saw. I don't remember what year it was exactly.
Superman, can you hear me? Superman, where? Who is this Superman? You'll find out, Jim. And when you do, come to me, Superman. If you dare, I defy you. Come and kneel before Zod.
Could there really be anything worse than what is on the way?